Hey guys, it's Jay with the Douchebag Brigade, and today we're going to be discussing a big controversial topic within the Mega 10 franchise, and that's Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse and its lack thereof of alignments and or choices when it comes to the story. And in Mega 10, outside of Digital Devil Saga and pretty much Persona, there are not many games where there aren't choices and or alignment options that affect the story. Now, in Persona, of course, there are a few options in the original Persona and things like that, but overall, alignment plays a huge role, especially in SMT games. And so, we're going to go through this and kind of discuss how the lack of alignment or decisions affects the storyline as a whole. Alright, so I'm going to start calling you guys Megatonites, since that's so close to Magnetite. Megatonites. Anyway, going forward, one thing I would have to say is that the story as a whole in Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse is very different than any story that we've experienced when it comes to Shin Megami Tensei. Usually when we play an SMT game, we're accustomed to story that really revolves around the environment of the game, or story that's a little bit less important as a per character basis, and mostly what matters is the overall tone of what's happening. Usually it's a story of multiple people having different ideals or different concepts that they want to achieve. Whereas in a game more like the more typical Persona 3, 4, 5 games, we're more ready to see, we're more often than not going to see something that involves friendships, forged bonds, and a little bit more maybe coming of age or understanding oneself, that whole spiel. But one thing I can say is that's really not the common focal point in an SMT game. We usually go further into discussions dealing with more like how the choices of humans have doomed us, or choices of specific humans, I should say, have doomed us. And that's a more conceptual idea that's shown in the SMT games. But then, when you play Apocalypse, it becomes very strange because you kind of feel like you're in a Persona game with the way that characters are introduced as a whole. In fact, if you play SMT4 and then SMT4 Apocalypse within a short period of time, you'll be held pressed to really not see the differences in story. Yes, and it's strange because Apocalypse is really just a side story of SMT4 on what could be happening with someone else. So, for Apocalypse, it goes as far as to make friendship a very key piece from the beginning of the game. It's not out of the ordinary to have a team member or friend in the fight, let's say, with you, but it is a little bit different to have that friend play such a strong dialogue role and not be a part of your actual fight, but more a background character as they've done in SMT4. But you get a lot of these characters to utilize, though, to be fair, you don't really utilize more than one at a time when it comes to these characters, but they're there for your, what would you call it, reserve or backup. And it's a cool concept, I'm not knocking that, but to have so many seems kind of pointless. I mean, I understand that certain of the teammates are built for certain battles in this, but it does feel a little stressed or strained to have that many characters. Now, yes, and the camaraderie that you build with them is interesting, but again, this is SMT. less time is usually spent building a friendship with someone and a bond, and usually it's more about what you're doing to allocate time in discovering things throughout the game and the world. I mean, remember, SMT is basically a game where you either go from having allies on your team to as far as having no allies and just demons. So, the whole friendship thing, it waters down the story to some extent of what's going on outside. But that's not really what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the way that it affects the alignment system. So typically in an SMT game, you're going to find an alignment system for for choices, or the chaotic route, the lawful route, the neutral route, or decisions that make a difference in what's happening. In this game, it really doesn't matter if you want to be lawful, chaotic, neutral. You don't get those options, really. You may sometimes feel like you're being asked questions that might dictate that information, but it never really plays out or builds into anything. In fact, it's not till the end of the game where you're basically faced with only two options. Massacre your friends, which seems like, why would anyone choose that? Or don't massacre your friends and believe in friendship. And, I mean, as anime tropey and or un-SMT or Persona 4-ish or esque that seems, how can you not choose that option? You've literally sat and listened to these characters, built a friendship with each of these characters in the game, listened to their storylines, heard their voice actors forever. So how do you get to the point of where you're just like, well, I'm just going to slaughter you all? There's no point. Nothing's leading up to that. These characters haven't betrayed you. I mean, there's nothing that would make you want to kill these characters, honestly. So the fact that that's even an option seems really strange and really weird. And I would say that as a whole, it's really nonsensical. There's no reason to do any of these options because they're pointless. So, yeah, you're going to stick with your friends. And, I mean, I get you might not if you want to see what else is out there, obviously, in a second playthrough. But it just doesn't feel like I'm given a real option of anything, acceptable. I mean, at least Persona 3, the FES, the answer, let me choose which of the teammates I wanted Aegis to still fight with and which ones we were going to take out. I mean, at least that. But geez, this is just like, nope, kill your friends or don't kill your friends. No reasonings, no pieces behind it. I don't know. I mean, what I got? Dogda's gonna tell me what to do. Like, I mean, it's very like, alright, I don't really need to listen to Dogda. Outside of keeping me alive constantly and reviving me, which also took away a lot from the gameplay. But outside of that, I don't really need to be your God Slayer. You can just kind of, continuously revive me at any time I die. But, so, I don't know. As a whole, I find the whole system without an alignment system or a decision-making system, this bonds versus massacre, as they call it, options, it seems pointless. I'm upset that there is no real alignment, true alignment system, but I'm almost more upset that the fact that my only options are kill all my friends or don't kill all my friends, and those are my only two options. It feels like a waste of time. I don't want to play SMT Persona. I want to play SMT 4. I like Persona, so when I want to play Persona, I go and I play Persona. I don't need to play. This game did not have to be watered down with a lack of alignments. And I didn't need to spend time relearning the value of friendship because I'm already aware of the value of friendship. So, I don't know, just my thoughts. don't get me wrong, I love the game. I had a great time playing it. The gameplay is incredible. But, come on. It's SMT. Let's be a little bit more hardcore and actually choose our decisions here that should make a difference. But anyway, this is Jay with Douchebag Brigade. Thanks, Megatonites. And I'll see you in the next one.